Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into what is, for so many students, a perfect storm. We're talking about that constant battle for focus in a world full of distractions and how that crashes right into the huge life shift of going to college. Let's get into it.
So let me ask you something. You've got a huge exam tomorrow. You sit down, you're ready to grind. But can you really do it without getting sidetracked? I mean, we've all been there, right? Your phone buzzes, you think of one quick thing to look up, and bam, an hour is gone. How much of that time were you actually studying?
Well, some researchers actually went and observed students to figure that out, and the number they found is pretty wild. In any given 15-minute study session, students only spent about 65% of their time on task. That's less than 10 minutes of real focused work. And the number one culprit? You guessed it, technology. Which brings us to this idea that we can do it all at once. Yeah, we all like to think we're amazing multitaskers. We're juggling homework, group chats, social media. We feel so productive. But you know the research? It paints a totally different picture. It's really less of a skill and more of a myth. And it's a myth that has some serious costs. And look, this isn't just a hunch. The science on this is crystal clear. When we try to learn while we're also texting or scrolling, our performance just tanks right across the board. From actually understanding the material all the way to our final GPA, trying to multitask with tech creates this huge learning gap. Now, what's really fascinating is seeing how this habit has just exploded over time. Researchers have this term, the net generation, for anyone born after 1980. And as you can see, the rates of multitasking with media are just way, way higher than for older generations. I mean, look at texting and music. 92% of the net gen does it, compared to just 69% of baby boomers. It's just become second nature. So to really get why multitasking is such a brain drain, let's use an analogy. Think of your conscious attention like a cook in a kitchen. Now, that cook can have a bunch of things going on, right? Soup on the stove, bread in the oven. But the cook can only physically do one thing at a time. They can't chop veggies and knead dough at the exact same second. Every time you switch from studying to checking a text, the cook has to stop, put everything down, reorient, and then start the new thing. That little delay is called a switch cost, and it's where we lose all that precious time and focus. Okay, so we've got this internal battle for focus happening inside our own heads. Now imagine taking that battle and dropping it into a brand new arena, one with way fewer rules and way more distractions than ever before. For a lot of people, that's exactly what the transition to college feels like. It's not just about moving to a new place, it's a total shift in freedom, supervision, and responsibility. And with all that new freedom, well, new behaviors emerge. Research consistently shows that things like alcohol and marijuana use and having multiple sexual partners all tend to go up pretty significantly during that first year of college. And it makes sense, right? You're in a new environment with less direct supervision and, frankly, just more opportunities. But hold on, because it's not that simple. And this is what makes this transition so complex. During that exact same time, other risky behaviors, like driving after drinking, physical aggression, and property crimes, they actually go down. And why? Well, maybe students have less access to cars, or the fact they can drink where they live completely changes the dynamic. It's a really mixed bag. So when you're facing all these complex challenges, the internal battle for focus and the external chaos of a new environment, how can we actually support students? The old way of doing things, just waiting for someone to ask for help, it just doesn't work. It's time for a smarter, evidence-based strategy, one that's designed to build a better system from the very start. And it's called proactive advising. The secret sauce is right there in the name. The advisor initiates the contact. So instead of just being this passive resource sitting in an office waiting for a student to show up, they become an active partner in that student's journey from day one. They're building a relationship before a crisis ever hits. And this isn't just some nice idea. It's a real structured process. This roadmap gives advisors a clear path to follow so they can build these genuine, holistic relationships that actually empower students to navigate whatever comes their way. Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? How does it work? Let's break this model down step by step to see how it goes from that first hello to real sustained support. It all starts with the advisor reaching out first, just to build that connection. Then, and this is so important, together they figure out the student's unique situation, not just their problems, but their strengths and goals too. From there, they build a plan, and the advisor connects them to the right resources on campus. And finally, and this is absolutely crucial, the advisor follows up. It becomes a continuous loop of support, not just a one-and-done meeting.
An abstract model is one thing, but let's see what this actually looks like for a student. We're going to walk through a scenario based on the research that really shows the power of this approach. So, let's meet Kimmy. She is passionate about becoming a social worker, but there's this one required stats class that's like a huge brick wall in front of her. She's already failed it once, and after bombing the midterm again, she's feeling totally lost and really anxious about her future. Now, in the old system, Kimmy might have just struggled in silence until it was too late. But here, her professor sends an early alert, and her advisor doesn't send a scary warning email. He sends a warm, supportive message, just saying, "Hey, I'm here. How can I help?" That simple, caring first step made all the difference and got her to actually book a meeting. So they meet, and the advisor helps her dig in and find the real problem. It wasn't that she was bad at math, it was that she was completely overwhelmed by how dense the textbook was. So the advisor didn't just say, "You should study harder." No, he got on the phone with her right then and there, called the Campus Learning Center, and got her an appointment with a reading coach. And the result? The Learning Center gave Kimmy actual, concrete strategies for tackling the reading. On her very next exam, her grade jumped by 2 full letter grades. A single, targeted, proactive intervention completely changed her path from failure to success. And that brings us to the big takeaway. Whether you're a student, a parent, or an educator, this whole model challenges us to think differently. A reactive system waits for a problem to become a full-blown crisis. A proactive one builds the foundation for success before the first crack even appears. So the question I want to leave you with is this: is the support system around you built to wait, or is it built to act?